My name is Meera. I was born in a small town in South India. The streets were narrow, the air smelled of jasmine flowers, and the mornings were filled with the sound of temple bells. I loved my home, but deep inside, I always dreamed of a bigger world, a world far away from my small town. Ever since I was a child, I wanted to go to America. I saw pictures of tall buildings, clean streets, smiling faces, and big opportunities. To me, America was not just a country, it was a dream. A dream of freedom, of confidence, and of a new life. When I was 10, my father bought me a small world map. He pointed at a tiny dot and said, "Meera, this is America." Very far from here, I looked at that small dot and smiled. I said, "Appa, one day I will go there." He laughed softly and said, "Dreams are good, my daughter. But remember, dreams need hard work." That sentence stayed with me forever. Dreams need hard work. As I grew up, I realized one big truth. If I wanted to go to America, I needed to learn English. At first, I was shy. In school, when the teacher asked questions in English, I stayed silent. My friends laughed whenever I made a mistake. I felt embarrassed. But one day I made a promise to myself. I will not stop because of fear. I will learn this language. I will speak confidently, so I started watching English movies with subtitles. I listened to English songs. I repeated every line loudly. At night, I stood in front of the mirror and practiced speaking. "Hello, my name is Meera. I'm from India. Nice to meet you." At first, my English sounded funny, but slowly I improved, step by step, word by word. After finishing my studies, I started working as a data entry assistant in a small office. The salary was low, but my dream was high. I wanted to study further, maybe do a course in America, work there, and experience a new life. But the journey was not easy. When I told my parents about my dream, my mother said softly, "Meera, America is very far. It's expensive. You'll be alone there." My father stayed silent for a long time. Then he said, "If you really want to go, we'll find a way. I trust you." His trust gave me courage. I started saving money. Every rupee I earned, I kept a small part aside in a box I called my dream box. I learned about scholarships and part-time work opportunities abroad. I spent nights watching videos of students who studied in America. I filled out application forms, and sometimes I cried because I didn't understand everything in English. But I never gave up. I believed that if others could do it, I could too. One morning, I received an email. It said, "Congratulations, Meera. You have been selected for a student exchange program in the United States." I couldn't believe it. I screamed, cried, and laughed all at once. My parents hugged me. My mother had tears in her eyes. "You did it, Meera," she whispered. That day, I felt like the world had opened its doors for me. The next few weeks were full of excitement and fear. I had never traveled alone before. I applied for a visa, prepared documents, and packed my bags. My English was better now, but I was still nervous about speaking in front of native speakers. I remember the night before my flight. I stood on the terrace looking at the stars and whispered, "Tomorrow, my new life begins." My heart was full of hope, but also full of questions. Will people understand my English? Will I make friends? Will I be able to adjust? Still, I smiled, because dreams are always bigger than fear. At the airport, my father said, "Remember, Meera, it's okay to be afraid." but never stopped moving forward. My mother held my hand tightly and said, "Learn everything you can. Make us proud." As I walked toward the flight gate, I looked back. My parents were waving. Tears rolled down my cheeks. It was the hardest goodbye of my life. It was my first flight. When the plane took off, my heart raced. I looked out of the window. The lights below grew smaller and smaller. I thought to myself, this is it. I'm flying towards my dream. During the flight, I met a woman sitting next to me. She smiled and asked, "Is this your first time flying?" I said nervously, "Yes, ma'am. I'm going to America to study." She laughed kindly. "That's wonderful. You'll love it there." Her friendly words made me feel less scared. For the first time, I spoke English with a foreigner, and she understood me. That moment gave me confidence. When I stepped out of the airport in America, everything looked like a movie scene. Wide roads, tall buildings, fast cars, and people speaking in accents I could barely understand. I took a deep breath and said softly, "I did it. I'm really here." But inside, I was also scared. Everything was new. Even the air smelled different. I had no friends, no relatives, and my English felt too small for this big world. Still, I told myself, "You came this far, Meera. Don't stop now." My first day at the university was unforgettable. The classroom was large. The students were from many countries: China, Brazil, Africa, and America. When the teacher spoke, I understood only half of what she said. The accent felt fast and sharp. At lunch, I sat alone. I watched others laughing and talking confidently in English. I wanted to join, but fear stopped me. I was afraid they would laugh at my pronunciation. That evening, I went back to my room and cried. I thought, maybe I'm not ready for this. Maybe I made a mistake. But then I remembered my father's words. Dreams need hard work. So I wiped my tears and opened my English notebook. I practiced speaking loudly again. "Hello, how are you?" "My name is Meera. I'm from India." I decided that no matter how difficult it became, I would not give up. Every dream begins with one step. I had taken mine. The road ahead was long, but I knew that courage was my companion. That night, before sleeping, I looked out of my small apartment window. The city lights were shining brightly. I smiled and said softly, "Tomorrow, I will speak better English. Tomorrow, I will grow stronger," and I believed it with all my heart. To be continued in part 2. The struggle, where Meera faces challenges, learns to adapt, and discovers her inner strength. Subscribe now for more videos.